Trion World talks about the latest build of Trove, Lineage II is preparing to launch its latest expansion, War Thunder cranks up the firepower, and Warframe unveils its massive Update 14. What's happening, guys? James Blonde here with MMOHuts.com with a quick weekly recap for MMO news and announcements for the weekend of July 21st, 2014. And our first announcement for this past week has to do with MapleStory and its ongoing Rising Heroes updates. The most recent update introduces the legendary Tower of Oz, from The Wizard of Oz. This tower-shaped dungeon has 200 floors to conquer, with powerful bosses placed every 10th floor. Plus, it has monstrous versions of the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, and most frightening of all, Dorothy herself. Interesting enough, though, characters level 100 and up can enter the Tower of Oz through the Dimensional Mirror. However, there are barriers within the tower that will block anyone smarter than a Scarecrow, which is pretty much anyone. So, as a result, many players will have to take some stupid pills to trick the tower's defense system. Ah, yes, stupid pills. Not enough in-game, too many outside of it. Oh well. Expect to see the new Tower of Oz in-game on July 23rd. In similar news, yeah, that's right, more Elsword news, what else? Elsword released a new trailer for the epic raid boss Eltrion, the guardian of the city in the sky. With this update, the Gate of Time opens up, and it calls Elsword in the game to challenge whatever may lie beyond it, which in this case is a giant raid boss. The Gate of Time itself is an entryway that leads to the raid boss, and it only appears when certain conditions are met and only stays open for 15 minutes. Now, the gate may appear in any of Hamel's or Sanders' fields, and Eltrion himself is supposed to be a challenge of epic proportions and very rewarding if defeated. The overall size of Eltrion doesn't worry you. The fact that you have to defeat him in less than 12 minutes or you lose might. The week before last, I mentioned the new Scourge Warlock being announced for Neverwinter, and this week, we see a new feature spotlight trailer showing off the new class as well as some of the upcoming new module. The new Eldritch Mage blasts enemies with a shadowy spellcraft, wielding a pack blade, and conjuring dark forces from other realms. The Scourge Warlock brings a new curse mechanic to the game. The Warlock focuses on summoning soul puppets, debuffing enemies, and doing tremendous damage to the enemies overall. According to the official announcement, they need these powerful skills as the growing cult of the dragon is expected to challenge players of all levels in Module 4, Tyranny of the Dragons. You can expect to see the new class and the new module launching on August 14th. Also in last week's recap, I mentioned Firefall having officially decided to launch on the 29th of this month, but also reintroducing PvP in a big way. This past week, Rev 5 revealed Broken Peninsula, the open world PvP that definitely involves PvE. When playing in Broken Peninsula, competing players are not your only concern or opposition. Dropping an SRT will spawn the usual array of creatures that are attracted to the noise it generates. In addition, wandering encounters will spawn throughout the zone, meaning that you'll run into bandits, superbugs, and of course the Chosen, or possibly even melding tornadoes like I mentioned before. With the new trailer here, we get an overview of some of the types of encounters that you can run into. We see elements of the old-style PvP missions as well as plenty of new features. I'm just excited to see how it's all balanced out. Next up, we've got some interesting news from NCSoft. Last week, they announced the release date for the next free content expansion for Lineage II. The new expansion is called Earthia as a complement to the new classes entering the game. The Earthia expansion will continue the story of the world of Aiden. One of the seals keeping the goddess of destruction in prison has broken, and with it the dimensions have shifted, allowing the spirit realm and the material realm to merge, bringing with it the Earthia race once again. It's really cool seeing an exciting new expansion come to an older game like this, especially since NCSoft just released a new title, like WildStar for example. Either way, the new expansion for Lineage 2 is set to launch on July 30th. Trion Worlds put out a developer update video last week for Trove, going over the recent updates and latest build. The title of the video is Trove Talk, and in this particular episode, the developers show off the Fey Trickster, the latest class in the game. I didn't realize this prior to seeing the video, but apparently the classes are set up with one passive, 3 active skills, and an ultimate. And in the case with the Fey Trickster here, their passive grants them a damage buff so long as they don't get hit by an attack from their enemy. One of their abilities is Blink, that gets you out of harm's way, hopefully, but also leaves behind a decoy that attracts enemies. The video also goes over the dungeons, layers, as well as other social activities you can do, like sports ball, for example. Looks like the game is coming along pretty nicely. Now give us access, Trion, please. Next up, Sony Online Entertainment with DC Universe Online is celebrating 75 years of Batman and making the game available in Southeast Asian countries. Just this week, they put out 3 videos discussing the overall magnitude and importance of Batman in the DC Universe, from deciding how to convey him in the game, what exact style of Batman will be taken from the comics, as well as what the future holds for the Dark Knight. They're pretty cool videos, to be honest with you. If you like Batman and DC Universe Online, you might want to check them out at the MMOHuts news post link below. And other than that, DC Universe Online has already started services in the Southeast Asia region as of July 15th. Last week brought with it a couple of news pieces on the My.com games. First up, Skyforge revealed details on a new location named Lanber Forest. This new location is an oasis of pristine nature, hidden away from the frenzied rhythm of the capital city and the hum of the factories. It may seem quiet and peaceful when you see it, but apparently it's just an illusion. And unfortunately, we did not get any new video footage of this new forest location, but we did get a new video for World of Speed that they like to call Dream Drive, featuring the Mazda RX-7 and the Mercedes-Benz 190e Evo battling it out on a couple of different tracks, showing off the game's weather system in the process. This game is still looking really good, and it probably won't be that long before we can actually try it out. And of course, we get an update from Armored Warfare as well. This time they revealed a new expansive map and combat zone called Port. This new map encompasses a major shipping dock sandwiched between the ocean and the burning heat of the desert, where vehicles can stalk each other in between enormous cranes, which actually move, shipping containers, office building, and loading facilities. And speaking of Armored Warfare, Gaijin Entertainment brings more firepower to War Thunder with the new Soviet T-35, and they like to call it the Land Leviathan. It's an epic name. This is the first tank with the multi-turret option they've introduced in the latest update, and this important update provides War Thunder fans with increased firepower, and the T-35 delivers, being the only 5-turreted heavy tank in the world. According to their video, there's only one left in the world, and they studied it in grave detail in preparation for the game's debut. The cool thing is, it's a Tier 1 tank, and it's available to everyone in War Thunder. Next up, Ubisoft announced that the mighty quest for epic loot is starting Opulencia's Hero Draft, which is a new system in the game that allows players to test out each of the 4 heroes to determine who they want to draft onto their looting team. So it's basically a free hero rotation every weekend, but it's only going on for the next 4 weekends, right up until a so-called big update is being introduced to the game, according to their press release. The other cool part, though, is players looking to gain new heroes permanently can also earn a discount of over 60% of the in-game currency price just by leveling those characters up during their free weekends. Might be a good time to snag that new hero that you've been wanting, or at least try them out for free. On a slightly similar note, Robot Entertainment announced last week the first details for the upcoming Orcs Must Die Unchained closed beta update set for Tuesday, July 22nd. Following a player account wipe, participants in the closed beta can look forward to trying 2 new heroes, the Cobalt King and Sir Winston. Players can also expect a ton of new features and quality of life improvements, including 40 new cards added to the current set, new skins, and team matchmaking. Thank goodness. Now all we need is to let more people into the game, and we're good. I've got a strong feeling, though, that it's going to happen really, really soon. And finally, our last announcement for this past week has to do with the epic new update for Warframe, Update 14.0. This new update is massive, as it was said to be, featuring so many new quests, a brand new user interface from top to bottom, Kubro companions, a new PvP scenario that's 4v4, new weapons and crafting perks, player ships, and plenty more. Plus, a new Warframe enters the fight this time. It's Mirage, who is kind of like Loki 2.0, so instead of making just one decoy, she can make many. She's also able to convert nearby objects into traps, which is scary. But yeah, there are so many highlights on this new update, so be sure to check out the official MMOHuts site post for all the details. Anyway guys, that's about all the MMO news and announcements for this week. If you haven't already been watching, today was the grand finals of the Dota 2 International Championship, making Team Newbie the grand prize winners of this year with a total prize amount of $5,028,308 in cash. But like always, if you're looking for more information about the news featured in the recap, check the links in the description below or head over to MMOHuts.com/news for even more MMO news. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below or head over to MMOHuts.com/forums. But until next time, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.